What's the personality difference between a conservative and a progressive? That's a serious question. People always talk about politics as these two parties with a list of specific issues, but there really is a personality trait that explains the larger pattern, and that trait is, how comfortable are you with change? Now this should be really obvious because it's right there in the names. Conservative is to conserve or preserve the way things are, or go back to the way it used to be, while progressive is to progress with more change faster. For example, people used to be more religious, women covered more skin, and homosexuality was wrong, which is why those values are considered conservative. And strict laws and a big military are considered conservative because that's the way it used to be, when we had stockades and public executions and nations invaded each other. I'm not saying conservatives want to go back to that, it's just that they don't want to change to lighter punishments and a smaller military. Also, historically, societies had rigid social classes from nobles down to peasants. So when the US declared that all men are created equal, that was very progressive. And today the push for equality is still considered progressive. Of course, both sides say they value equality, but it's progressives who want to help the lower class and restrict the upper class. You can also see that progressives distrust the rich, while conservatives distrust the poor, saying they'll just be lazy and take advantage of any government help. Fiscally, conservative means to be cautious. That is, it's better to err on the side of doing or spending too little than to do or spend too much, which is why conservatives want lower taxes and less government, usually. To be clear, no party is in favor of waste, but progressives are more willing to experiment on new policy changes. Now, I want to point out that change is a moving target. Over our history, it was conservatives who supported slavery and opposed letting women vote and integrating schools. But those were conservatives relative to their time. No conservative today wants to undo any of those. The line moves with time. So even the most staunch conservative today would be considered a flaming liberal to someone 200 years ago. And that's how the future will look back at us today. Now, just to clarify, it's not that conservatives oppose all change. They just want change to be slower and cautious. They're like the brake pedal, while progressives are the gas pedal. A car with no brakes would speed out of control, while a car with no gas would go nowhere. And deep down, despite all the hyperbolic rhetoric, the political leaders don't really want either extreme. Okay, now that we know this pattern, this explains why certain people are more likely to be conservative or progressive. So see my next video for that.